shop for all things Impact Wrestling, brought to you by Real NerdCorp.com. Bitches. I'm your host with the most. I'm the man with the plan. I am Yosemite Sam's long-lost cousin. I don't know if that's an insult. It might be.
Ooh, I hate that varmint.
Ooh, I hate that there varmint. Why was Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd the same height?
Were they?
I feel like they were.
I mean, neither one of them were tall.
Yes, that's kind of the point I'm making. And they were both gun nuts with an obsession of shooting small animals. By the by, look what I found.
What you find?
Hang on, it's being uncooperative. Been having enough of that shit today. Boom, baby, it's back. Our best-selling T-shirt of all time, sold a whopping 10, and it's back. I spent, no lie, 2 full episodes of the OC recreating this shirt. It's back! I'm so happy. But we also have a new shirt.
A new shirt?
Yes, the Wrestling Underground. It's a shirt with our underground flag. It's in front of a ring. It's a thing. It's a thing. So we have both versions of the Watch More Wrestling shirt and the Wrestling Underground shirt. So those are going to be up throughout the length of our existence. No, the new Watch More Wrestling might be taken down because the old Watch More Wrestling was the whole one I wanted. So, and I finally got it back, dude. So I found out that I still had a cutouted image of the logo, right? But it wasn't meshing with the black of the shirts that we had to offer. So I had to painstakingly blow up the image to 2 by 2000 by 2000, and then zoom in, just so I could erase every piece of non-lettering that existed. It was a pain in the dick. But it's up. Now we have a thing. So, anyway, you can buy shirts. Go to teespring.com/stores/nerdcorp. Or links down below. Help us fund the sites. Because I don't get paid in my new job till January.
Whoa,
And I'm not sure how that one's gonna go. Because I don't know how well I'm doing as a popular writer. Although a lot of people are commenting very, very positively on my stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're saying I have good analyses. And if you actually read my columns, you'll know I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. Turns out when you're a hyperactive, borderline violent fan of fighting, you tend to have an idea on how to hurt people. I don't know. I'm like Batman over here, only if he was a little bit more psychotic. Oh, wait. I am Batman, then.
Yeah.
Joining me, though, after that long preamble, is the co-host with the co-most. He is the entrepreneur of donut holes. He is a man with the floral fauna plan. He is my, well, actually more, Matt is my Al Borland. You're more like my Heidi. He brings the sex appeal. Sexy Zecky, Zachary Tyler Pew Pew Duncan.
I could be a damn good Heidi.
Does everyone know what time it is? Cool time. Thank you for that rousing introduction, Mrs. Bimford.
The unaired pilot of Tool Time.
Yes, you remember the episode.
where Tim had the beard and Al was clean shaved.
Yup. And it was Timothy Allen and Alfred Borland. And then she was playing the organ, the da 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 da. And there's 5 people in the audience. If we ever do a show, that'll be 5 more people that show up to the unaired pilot than it would ever show up to us.
Yeah.
And that's with me telling Marcus, Zach, I fucked up. I always get you and Swish name wise confused because I always have a thing with these Z's and the S's. It's a mental thing. But even if I told Swisher, Marcus, Matt, and everyone else I know to show up, we'd still be down 5 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look around, you're not even there, just like a box. Wait, it's like a phone box. Hey, Zach, are you calling into the show? That's correct, Chad. But you're supposed to be in person. That's not gonna happen.
I don't think so, Chad.
There it is. There it is. I don't think so, Chad.
I was about to say we got 2 people viewing us right now, but both of those viewers are you and me. So,
well,
there you go.
We are a few minutes late. We actually do get a good amount. It doesn't always register on the view count, but I have users in chat open, and usually we bounce around to about 8 or 10 live, but we do really well on YouTube. Like we have 600 views on the Stu Young export alone from last week.
Ooh.
So we don't ever do great live numbers, but we do really good YouTube numbers. And that was one of the reasons why I split the wrestling from the game and comic side, because it was holding back the wrestling side. We have 50,000 views or something like that on YouTube alone for the wrestling content, and like 55,000 overall. So I had to make a decision. But it's going to help us grow because we also had some good traction with a recent video about Death Stranding on the comic side of things. So we need more hot button issues that people want to talk about. That's how we grow the brands. So yeah, we're gonna have people show up tonight. Well, we always do, even if it's on the export art downloads. So Marcus and I did the NWA Power recap last night. Is doing all right. Now we're going to be doing the Impact recap tonight. Dave Meltzer erroneously tweeted out that Impact on Axis got 1.4 million viewers. And I was like, golly gee, golly bobbin'. But he's like, oh.
Hey, look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey, look, I'm Woody. Howdy, 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 howdy. Give me that. Do you know the "You're a sad, strange little man, you have my pity, farewell" line was a completely ad-libbed?
That's fantastic.
Right? The things you find out. Speaking of ad-libbing, Moose ad-libbed Willie Mack's jaw shut. I don't know how that correlates or transfers, but there you go. Transition. Segue. Moose is someone that I think is in a really... He's in a shitty spot. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. He's a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the best world champion possibility. And he's not a face anymore. Otherwise, you could start building towards Callahan Moose at Slammiversary.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think Moose right now would be better served by having a second title.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be it the... God damn it. All right, Wilson. Mm-hmm. Well, Zach, I remember by the great philosopher Steve Borden when he said, "I'm the Stinger, and I'm not done yet." That would be great. I would watch that show. just me on a box putting my head over the fence, because let's be honest, I'm not 6'5" like Richard Karn. So I think that's his name, Richard Karn. So
Richard Carter was Al.
Oh, then who the fuck was Wilson?
No idea. I refuse to look him up because I don't want to see the face.
He's been in things you've watched before, man.
I don't give a shit right now. I don't have that correlation, and my knowledge of Wilson is intact. He's just a pair of eyes and a hat that's looking over the fence.
He looks like Herman Munster without makeup. Like, have you ever seen the actor who played Herman Munster in anything else? But
I have not.
Well, have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yes.
Herman Munster was the judge.
Was he the judge?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's kind of what Wilson looks like. In fact, for a
Such a
little
great
while, I
movie.
thought he was the same person.
Oh, okay.
In fact, he very well may have been, for all I remember. I don't remember much. So before we get into Impact, I just want to say this. I just need to say this. I remember watching the series finale of Home Improvement in anger and rage. Earl Hindman. Earl Hindman. That's his name.
What was your rage about there, Chad?
When I watched the end of the series and I saw him still behind the fucking fence when they did their final curtain call, I was enraged. Because I spent 8 fucking years, wanting to see what this man looked like. And in the last possible moments, they still fucked me. You could tell I was a little angry about that as a child.
You were angry about them hitching up the house to a fucking trailer and lugging it away.
No, not really. I was sad it was coming to an end, but they did. There was, if you remember, the final night. It was actually a two-parter. It was the series finale and then like a thank you episode, where they did like behind the scenes and like one of the scenes that they showed because there was a wedding in the series finale. It was Al's wedding, and Wilson was the what's the word? The minister, I guess you could say, the practitioner of the wedding. And he served as the guy, and at the end of this, during the thank you episode after the series finale, he comes out for the curtain call, and he's all decked out, but he's carrying a fucking wooden fence in front of his face, like a little popsicle stick, and he does the final bow, and I'm sitting there with my jaw unhinged as like, what was I, 12, 13 at the time? 12. I was 12. Just going, I wasted most of my life waiting to see this man's face. And this is how you do me? Because you got to remember, if you wanted to get on the internet, it took you 5 minutes. You needed a CD. And there wasn't anything called Google yet, or IMDb for that matter. At least not that you could find easily. So,
and you need to hope someone else wasn't on the phone.
Right? So I was sitting there just, my eye was twitching like, what? It was a messy day for me. It was a very messy day. But yes, so that's my Home Improvement story. I love Home Improvement though.
It's a great show.
It holds up. And like, even though I'm not a Republican, I very much did enjoy Last Man Standing for a lot of the years. But too much actor overhaul kind of killed my enjoyment.
Yeah, I mean, did all the daughters, like all of them, get different actresses at some point?
There's 3 daughters. 2 of them were replaced. 1 just left the show. Because I'm pretty sure the youngest daughter, the actor who plays her, is still technically part of the show, but is only on a guest starring role now because she's doing like movies and shit. Like the first one, I think her name was Kristen. Like, okay, the first one was way hot, and the second one's way not. But like, whatever. The second one's all right. But Mandy, you changed Mandy? That will not stand. Like that right there. Like when I saw that it was being rebooted with Fox and they replaced the Mandy actress, I was like, "You 2 sons of 2 bitches. You want to fuck on me?"
Oh, Ted DiBiase.
Fuck on me.
It's the greatest Vince McMahon story ever.
Right? Thank you, Cody. AEW may not be holding my attention anymore, but that interview will always be a gem. So Mac and Moose fought.
Yes. Yes, after
15 minutes.
20 minutes.
Finally getting to it. This is a real good opener. Mac's a hell of a wrestler. The only thing that I'll say about Mac is I think they're doing him a disservice by not letting him cut more promos.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic. Moose gets the win. Not too surprising. Moose is I would say he's not in the top 5 because you have Callahan, Cage, Eddie, Tessa.
Mm.
Maybe he's in the top 5. Who else would be in the top 5? Cage, Callahan, Tessa, Eddie. Maybe Moose? Maybe. So he's there. If he's not in the top 5, he's in the top 7. He's a top guy though. A TV title or like an Impact International Championship, something along that lines would be what this company needs because they need another belt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people bitch about like New Japan has too many titles. What? No, they don't. Shut the fuck up. Because when I think about the UFC, Zach, do you know just the men's division? They have heavyweights,
Yes.
light heavyweights,
Light heavyweight.
middleweights, welterweights, lightweights. Now, I always get the next 3 confused in order, so I'm just going to take it a shot. Featherweights, bantamweights, and flyweights. That's 8 men's champions with another 4 women's belts.
Yeah.
That go from featherweight, bantamweight, flyweight, and atomweight, I think. Maybe not atomweight. Whatever's above atomweight. So, like, that's 12 titles. No one's complaining. UFC's got too many belts. I mean, more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
Now, they do say it about the women because there's not as much depth in these women's divisions, and that's more UFC just not paying top women what they deserve, but whatever. But when you think about that, when you think about what the, how real fighting goes about things, you could and should be doing something similar. I think having one title match on television per belt per month is the way to go. Have a world title and like make that the main event. Have like the title be the main event. That way, when you get to these super shows, you have all the belts on the line. I think they should be at 6. I think that's a good spot for where they would be at right now. The world, the international TV Grand Prix, Grand Championship, whatever. The X Division, and then the tag teams. And on the women's side, you have the knockouts and the knockouts tag teams. 6. I think that's the way to go. But with the knockouts, that one's going to be the last one added, I think. Because you can seamlessly add another men's belt and it not really affect anything. Right. But I don't know if the women's division as it stands right now is that deep for 2 belts. But you can always add. And let's be honest, Access TV just landed arguably the biggest non-North American MMA promotion in the world. Combates Americas is going to be airing on Access TV. We'll talk more about this later because something Ed Nordholm said during the press conference that made my sphincter slam shut. Because it involves the 2 last people we would ever want to have back with Impact, possibly being back with Impact.
Ugh.
Yeah. Fear crippled me. But we'll get there. Be sure to remind me after the Impact recap. Okay. That's when we'll talk about it. But, like, you could add another men's title and it wouldn't even matter, But with the women, you would need to invest, another $300,000 into the company to, round out the talent needed for that. And it's not like Access and Anthem don't have the money to do it. They do. They just landed Combates Americas, and they bring in, like, 4 million viewers no, it's actually more than that. It's like 10 million viewers, I think, in Latin America alone. Like from Mexico on down. So there's a big audience for them here in the States, potentially. So they're going to have some people, tuning in for these shows. Yeah, Impact, you got Combates America. It's like this is a good... Access TV's new era is off to a good start. And I've said before that Combates Americas and I think I said Ryzen would have been the two best fits for this brand. And it looks like they listen. They're taking my ideas. But I think a title would help Moose get not get over more because he's pretty fucking over, but would help him kind of find a space in the company that is his own without having to go after the world title yet.
Right.
So that's just my thoughts. That's my thoughts on the matter. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you because right now you have just without getting into the tag team title belts, you just have the world title and the X Division, and the X Division right now, the X Division title right now is really just kind of staying. It's really kind of just staying in that group of smaller guys that do all the flippies and things. And it's like, I mean, that is kind of where the X Division started, but again, anyone could hold the X Division championship.
Yeah.
So right now, that's being limited, and the world championship should be limited to guys that are at the top of the company. So that makes sense. So then everyone else that's not either at the top of the company or fits in the X Division model. Somehow AC Romero was in that ladder match.
Well, Brian Cage was just X Division champion last year.
That's true.
So I do want to point that out.
You're not wrong.
But outside of that, you're right. They guys like Willie Mack could be easily an X Division champion. He's the perfect kind of guy to be the X Division champion. But they are sticking with that prototypical cruiserweight style guy, and I don't know if that's the way to go. At least not all the time, because when you think about some of the better X Division champions, like Jerry Lynn was 230 pounds. Like, he wasn't a small dude. Rob Van Dam, 230 pounds, wasn't a small dude. You know?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, he's fat. He's a fat asses. He was, 270, 265,
yeah, and that
270.
was back when he was in shape.
Yeah. Sabu wrestled for the belt, and he was 230. There's more. Hang on. I just got to find there. Kurt Angle, I'd probably say 225 when he won it, maybe 230. I think that'd be fair.
He had leaned down at that point.
Yes, he had leaned down significantly because he was no longer on steroids. But, I'd still say he was a heavyweight in college and in the Olympics.
Right.
So I would say he's, anywhere from 220 to 240 naturally. So, that's always there. Let's see. Just rolling through in my mind. Down the line. Here we go. Bully Ray never won it. Shelley, Sabin. Doug Williams was 230, 225. He was up there. Abyss, 300.
I was about to say, I thought Abyss had won it at some point.
Yep, Abyss won it. Then they implemented that stupid fucking weight restriction. Then Samoa Joe won it again.
Yeah.
Eric Young, I think, won it at one point. And he's always been a big cat. Maybe not tall, but definitely thick.
Yes,
he's thick boy tall.
He was thick, and no one realized it until he faced Lashley.
Right, Lashley is another one. Yeah. I just realized there is such a thing as Wikipedia.
There is,
right? Who invented this newfangled contraption? The entire net. What's this World Wide Web? Why are all these words together? All right, so let's start from the beginning and just kind of just run shot it, right? So Styles, Loki, Jerry Lynn. We already talked about Jerry Lynn. Six-Pac, I would say he's a cruiserweight. Styles, Lynn, Sonny Siaki, the first real non-X Division guy to win it. Amazing Red, Kid Cash, Ace in the Hole, Chris Sabin, Michael Shane, Chris Sabin, Kazarian Styles, Kazarian and Shane, Petey Williams, Styles, Daniels, Joe, Senshi, which is Loki. Sabin, Styles, Daniels, Sabin, Styles, Lethal, Sabin, Lethal, Joe again, then Angle, then Lethal, then Johnny Devine. That's one I always forget. Jay Lethal, Petey Williams, Sheik Abdul Bashir, Eric Young, Alex Shelley, Suicide, Cross the Line, Homicide, Samoa Joe, Amazing Red, Douglas Williams, Kazarian, Doug Williams, Jay Lethal, Amazing Red, Jay Lethal, Robbie E. There you go. At the time he won, he was like a
Mm-hmm.
good 225. Jay Lethal, Kazarian Abyss, Brian Kendrick, Austin Aries, Zema Ion, RVD, Kenny King, Saban, Austin Aries, Saban, Manic, which is Suicide, Cross the Line. Saban Aries. What the fuck? That's actually how it goes. Saban Aries. Sonata, who's a heavyweight. Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, Loki, Austin Aries, Loki, Rockstar Spud, Kenny King, Rockstar Spud, Tigre Uno, Trevor Lee, Eddie Edwards, Mike Bennett, there you go. Eddie Edwards, Lashley, DJZ, Trevor Lee, Loki, Sanjay Dutt, Trevor Lee, Taishi Ishimori, Taiji Ishimori, Matt Sydal, Brian Cage, Rich Swan, Jake, Chris Days, Austin. There you go. So I'd say about 10 guys probably fit the non-X Division motif.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing more. Like
Yeah.
the Maxter.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Remember when Legends of Tomorrow was good?
That was a long time ago, Chad.
Yes, it was. So,